Good morning. Today, the material I'm going to be using for my class is a video clip. It is taken from one of the news we normally listen to in the night. So it is called News at 9. So, as an objective, I want my students at the end of the class to be able to identify different vocabulary words and to demonstrate how to use these words. Also, I want them to engage themselves in free, open communication, which will lead to success in the real world performance, speech, talks, presentation, etc. Also, I want them to be able to demonstrate uh, the monitoring strategy whereby they can correct themselves when they speak. In addition to that, I want them to also adopt the method of compare, identify, and produce in pronunciation. So the class begins. Good morning, class. Hi, everyone. James, Matthew, Kule. I'm glad to see every one of you. Today's class will be an extension of the class we had in the previous class. Okay. Uh, in our last class, we looked at some vocabulary words, and we picked those vocabulary words from where? From the audio clip. Can somebody remind me what the audio clip is on? Yes, it's all about kidnapping. We talked about kidnapping. Some men were involved. It's a gang. It's a group of some guys. They said they don't have jobs, so they were everywhere kidnapping people, and they were getting money from this. I talked about kidnapping, and I talked about the word kingpin. Can somebody tell me what we mean by? Yes, an important personality in an organization or in an activity. That's good. And I named the person to be what? Evans, who has risen to stardom to the extent that people now call him a billionaire kidnapper. Okay? So we are going to be looking at this audio clip again in today's class, and we are going to be taking some vocabulary words. We looked at some certain characters in the last class, but in today's class we are going to be looking at some other characters. There was instances where police also gave their reports, journalists also came to give their comments, people within their neighborhood came to voice out about the activity, and also people who had been victims of such kidnapping by this notorious gang group. They came out to say their own. So we're going to be picking out those characters. We're going to be summarizing what these people said, okay, in our own words. Now, as we listen, I will make some repetitions. When I make these repetitions, mark those words. It's because I want you to be able to pronounce the words. I told you as an objective, we're going to be using the strategy of what? Comparing, identifying, and what? Producing. So when I make these words, I'll compare the way I say it. I'll compare the way you say yours with mine. You will compare it yourself and see the way they sound. Okay? So I'll make this repetition. Please take note of them. Then we ask some questions among ourselves. A can ask B, okay, like James asked Janet, Mary asked Sarah, Paul asked Kunle, okay? Like in this particular word, how does this sound? How does it sound? I mean, in terms of vowels, in terms of consonant. Can you differentiate between this word and this word? And when we use these words in a sentence, can you pick out the word? Like this is the actual word we are talking about. Do you understand? Then in our last class, if you can remember, we talked about the word although. But in today's class, if you look at the back, at the shelf there, I put some pictures there for you, and I wrote some keywords. One of the keywords is through. It is spelled Through. You remember, although also ends with OUGH. Although sounds although, but through, which also ends with OUGH, sounds in a different way. What can you infer? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's good. So we are coming back to that, okay? Now, to also make today's lesson more elaborate, I'll be using we'll be using some tongue twisters. Like if I say some stupid students started smoking since 1666. I remember in those days in the village, one of our teachers used to say something like, Baba Bola born Bola before Bola born Pussy. Okay? Now, I will also, we're going to be also looking at the aspect of stress. Like if I say photographer, where do we place the stress? Yes, we place the stress on the second syllable. Photographer. So the second syllable attracts the stress. For instance, if I say university, where do we place the stress? We place the stress on the third syllable, university. Okay? So we also be looking at the pitch. The pitch. When we talk, for instance, if I say a word closer to you, are you able to pick it? If I stay further away from you, will you be able to pick it? That this is actually the word that I'm talking about. So we will make it in form of loudness and a kind of making it a soft tone by increasing or decreasing the volume. Okay. So in the lesson of today, in what we have just listened to in the video clip that we have just watched, what can you say about kidnapping? Look at the way these guys put it. They said because there was no job. The man said there was no job. Yet he married a beautiful wife and he has 5 children. No job, unemployment. Is that a justification for that activity? Okay, if I may ask, has any one of you been kidnapped before? I remember in those days when a certain man within our neighborhood was kidnapped. We went to the police station, made reports. Okay, we made phone calls. We went to the bush, entered different uncompleted buildings. We put in a lot of effort. Okay, yet until after a week, this man came back to tell his story. Kidnapping itself is a serious offense. You all know that. So I have modeled the character of the kingpin when the police caught him, the way when a man is caught or when a man is brought into the arms of the law, you know the way the person behaves. He looks gentle, looks innocent. He becomes calm, sober. When they ask him questions, he feels like, you know that kind of. I modeled it in the last class. Okay, so as a guided practice, what we are focusing on today is the pronunciation of these vocabulary words we have had from the video clip, which I have done, okay, in the class for you. So I would expect each and every one of you to come out and speak for 3 minutes about a particular character you picked from the video clip. Just summarize the character, what the person said, and I will base my assessment on your pronunciation, how you pronounce individual words, okay, and how freely you can express yourself. Best of luck.